What if you woke up tonight not to an alarm but to a presence in your room, a demon standing at the foot of your bed? It does not want your soul. It wants to ask you a question. It leans in and whispers, "This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it. But every pain and every joy, every thought and sigh, and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence. Every single moment, the triumphs and the humiliations, the first kiss and the last goodbye, the boring Tuesday afternoons and the moments of breathtaking beauty, all of it on a loop, forever." The demon finishes its proposition. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, "You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine"? What would your answer be right now? Would it be a scream of terror or a shout of joy? This is not just a spooky story. It is one of the most powerful psychological tools ever conceived, from the mind of the great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. He called it the eternal recurrence. And it's not a theory about the universe. It is a question designed to do one thing: to force you to confront the life you are actually living and give you the power to change it, starting today. Let's be honest. Most of us live on autopilot. We wake up, we scroll, we work a job that pays the bills but does not light a fire in us. We say, "I'm fine," when we're not. We put our dreams on a shelf labeled "someday." We live with a quiet hum of dissatisfaction, a sense that we are extras in our own movie. We make small compromises. We choose comfort over courage. We tell ourselves it is just for now, but now has a nasty habit of becoming forever. This is the default setting of modern life, a slow drift toward a future filled with the heaviest burden of all: regret. The regret of not speaking up, the regret of not taking that risk, the regret of not truly living. Nietzsche saw this. He saw people sleepwalking through their one precious life, but he was not just interested in diagnosing the problem. He wanted to create a cure, a hammer to shatter our complacency. And that hammer is the demon's question. So let's use this tool. Let's feel the full weight of it. Imagine the demon's proposition is real, everything on repeat. The job you tolerate. You will have to work it 1,000,000,000 times. That argument you had yesterday. Get ready for the encore, infinitely. The hours you waste scrolling social media, feeling envious or empty. You are now sentenced to an eternity of that exact feeling. The feeling of time slipping through your fingers, forever and ever. This is the first crucial reaction, the horror, the gnashing of teeth. If your immediate response to the idea of reliving your life is a resounding no, then congratulations. That is not a curse. It is a compass. That feeling of dread is pointing directly at the parts of your life that need to change. It is a giant, flashing sign from your own soul saying this is not working. It illuminates the gap between the life you have and the life you want. The eternal recurrence is not about predicting the future. It is about evaluating the present. It transforms vague dissatisfaction into a clear, undeniable call to action. It takes the abstract idea of making a change someday and makes it brutally, urgently necessary. Because now the stakes are not just one lifetime of regret. The stakes are an eternity of it. Suddenly, staying in that dead-end job is not just a poor choice for the next 5 years. It is a conscious decision to endure that specific misery for all time. So how do we move from the horror of no to the power of yes? This is where the thought experiment becomes a practical decision-making tool, a filter you can apply to every choice you make, big or small. Let's start with the big stuff. You're offered a new job. It pays more, but the work is uninspiring. The old you might take it. It is practical. It is safe. But now you ask the demon's question. Would I want to relive this career choice and its consequences for eternity? The answer is not about money anymore, is it? It is about meaning. It is about passion. It is about whether this path will add a chapter to your life story that you would be thrilled to read over and over again. The question forces a long-term perspective like nothing else. Or consider a relationship. Maybe it is comfortable but lacks deep connection. Would you want to relive these exact dynamics, these conversations, these silences forever? The thought experiment cuts through the fear of being alone and asks a much more profound question. What kind of love is worthy of eternity? This tool is an incredible fear killer. What are you afraid of? Asking someone on a date, starting your own business, moving to a new city. The fear of failure or rejection feels huge in the moment. It can paralyze us. But then the demon appears. It presents you with two possible eternities. In the first, you take the risk. Maybe you fail, maybe you get rejected. It stings for a while. You relive that sting, sure, but you also relive the courage it took to try. In the second eternity, you do not take the risk. You choose safety. And for the rest of time, you are haunted by the same question. What if? You are sentenced to an infinite loop of your own inaction and regret. Which eternity is more terrifying? The momentary sting of failure, or the endless ache of not knowing? Suddenly, the risk of trying seems minuscule compared to the eternal damnation of regret. The eternal recurrence reframes fear. The real monster is not failing. It is failing to even try. But it is not just for life-altering decisions. The true power of this idea is how it transforms the mundane, the everyday. It is a tool for being present. Look at what you are doing right now, in this very moment. Are you scrolling on your phone while your friend is talking? Would you want to relive that moment of disconnection for eternity? Or would you rather relive a moment of putting the phone down, looking them in the eye, and truly listening? Are you rushing through your meal to get to the next thing? Or could you take a moment and truly savor the taste, the texture, the simple pleasure of nourishment? Which experience is worthy of being eternal? This is not about creating a life of constant, epic highs. That is impossible. It is about finding the divinity in the details. It is about creating moments so rich with presence, love, or beauty that you would gladly have them back, again and again. This is what Nietzsche called amor fati, the love of one's fate. Not just accepting what happens to you, but actively loving it, willing it, choosing it. To look at your life with all its messiness, struggles, and imperfections and say, yes, this. I want this again. To be able to say yes to the demon is the ultimate affirmation of life. It means you are not running from anything. You are not hiding. You are embracing the whole of your experience, the light and the dark, as essential parts of the masterpiece you are creating. It means transforming suffering into strength. Every obstacle you overcome, every hardship you endure, is no longer just a scar. It is a crucial plot point in the epic saga you would choose to live forever. It gives meaning to the struggle. Living this way is an act of rebellion, a rebellion against the culture of distraction and autopilot. It is a commitment to being the author of your life, not just a passive reader. Every choice becomes a stroke of the pen. Are you writing a story worth rereading for eternity? The beautiful thing is, you do not have to get it perfect. You just have to start. Start asking the question, before you say yes to that invitation, before you spend money on that thing you don't need, before you lose your temper, ask, is this action building a life I would want to live again? Slowly, choice by choice, you begin to sculpt your life. You cut away the things that make you scream no, and you add more of the things that make you whisper yes. You start aligning your daily actions with your deepest values. Your life begins to feel less like a series of random events and more like a deliberate work of art. You become the protagonist of your own story, a story so compelling, so true, so uniquely yours, that an eternity of it sounds less like a punishment and more like a prize. So you see, the demon is not a threat. It is a gift. It is your personal consultant, your spiritual guide, your ultimate bullshit detector. It holds up a mirror and forces you to see what is really there. The goal is not to live in fear of the demon's visit, but to live in such a way that you would welcome it. To live with such courage, purpose, and love that your life becomes its own justification, its own reward. Because ultimately, you are the only one who has to live your life. So why not build one you would be thrilled to live forever? Why not start, right now, creating moments worthy of eternity, just in case you wake up tonight?